students do some project, do some research. Students who are willing to do, they also don't understand what to start with. Students say, sir, we want to do in nanotechnology, we want to do in food, we want to do in design, but how to start with, they are not sure. So we discussed that to start with your attitude, find out where is your attitude. You want to study nanotechnology. You are fascinated with the applications of nanotechnology. Okay, good. Then in nanotechnology, you find out some research topic. Nanotechnology. In first year, you have studied how nanotechnology is useful in many ways in medicine, in machining, in drug delivery, in food as antibacterial, antimicrobial agents for food safety, or even in enhancing the food nutrition, that is, you can use it in agriculture. Then nanotechnology can be used in sensors. Then nanotechnology can be used in catalysis. How the catalysis are useful in the environment for the degradation, for the to degrade the garbage, or to or to enhance the reaction, or catalysis are very important in petro industry. Who is this Karthik? Karthik, why do you need the annotation request? Please don't play with this. So catalysis can be used in fuel cell. Your this topic of this class. How? So, like I want to say that nanotechnology is not a research topic. Research topic you have to find out inside the nanotechnology, and that maybe that you have to find out your attitude first. That where is your attitude, or it's not important. Nanotechnology is another thing. You go to the if some students are from MBA, they may want to go to some business strategies. So there are in MBA also there are many good topics to do the research. For example, fintech, financial technology. For example, big data, that is data science, how to use the big data. But in that also, this is a research topic. Research topic, a wider research topic. You have to find out some topic in big data that what exactly you want to do in the big data, and that topic may consist of series of research sometime. Okay, if it's very big, make it in the steps. Make it in a complete step, not in the part one, part two, part three, but in some steps. That is the way. That is how we choose the research topic, and that is how we choose the title of present study, and then we start with, and then we start with. This is what we have started and we are doing. Right? You can please put your questions in the chat box. Then I discussed some of the topics. No topic is wrong. No topic is bad. Just you can start anything. With time, these all things will be improved. I discussed many topics with you. I also discussed with you that choice of topic changes the contents of the discussion. Right? I discussed with you, I again repeat, then whenever you start of thinking start with a topic, choose a topic, then before doing anything, make a structure by writing the list of contents. Then out of this structure, make the abstract. Abstract should be little meaning of abstract, not the summary. Summary you can put in the end, that is in conclusion. This should be abstract findings, abstract story of your smaller research topic, focused research topic. This should be keep on keep a focus live on the search title. I hope this is clear. Abstract should be just abstract. Your topics may be antibacterial, antimicrobial applications. Your topic may be to study the toxicity, nanotoxicity measurements, misconceptions in nanotoxicity measurements. What do you mean by nanotoxicity? And what are the ways that we can remove our misconceptions and we can save ourselves, save the environment, right? Then your sometime, this is just to give you an example that sometime your title may be very short, a few 3 or 4 words, but still it is clear that you are going to study photovoltaic properties of ferrites. We have not specific that what ferrites. That's a little problem, but okay. We are talking about the ferrites who give the photoelectrical properties, who are good for the solar cell. This is a new field of perovskite solar cell, which are very efficient than silicon solar cell, right? So again, I repeat that please focus on the list of contents before you write the abstract, and of course, you should write some contents here, then write the abstract. The contents description, content material should be in your mind to visualize, basically to write this story, abstract story in few words, in on average 250 or 300 words. Sometimes, for example, this SKMCon asks less than 200 words. So that's art. And that art is only possible when you write list of contents, and all the material from this list of contents is available in your mind, is available on the page, right? So I was discussing, yes, this is the list of content the student has written. Another example, nanotechnology in the food sector and potential application of poultry industry. This example I have taken from one of the published work, and here I want to just point out that whenever you write abstract, it has 3 parts, as I told, as I discussed earlier also. I said that it should have some background and what is the importance of the title of the study in your focus, the background. For example, this is nanotechnology in food sector, and he is focusing, the author is focusing on potential applications for the poultry industry. So here is the background, right? Then remember some keywords. Out these keywords is again make the structure of the abstract and your contents. First is background, then what is the scope and what approach. Scope and approach, make it clear. What is the scope of that study? in the applications you are going to discuss. And but approach, if it is a review article, then we are discussing the approach of the other people, other scientists, what approach they have choose.
हेलो
Yes, yes बेटा.
सर, आवाज नहीं आ रही आपकी।
अच्छा, हो सकता है कहीं नेटवर्क की प्रॉब्लम हो, बट ओके, लेट मी
हाँ
चेक माय
जी, पहले
नेटवर्क.
ठीक आ रही थी, अब बहुत धीरे आ रही है, सुन नहीं रहा कुछ, क्या बोल रही हो।
ओके, then check the scope and approach, key findings and conclusion. Then in the last 3 or 4 lines we write key findings and conclusion of the abstract. Okay, here we discussed yesterday that you create a online, this is same, that you create a list of contents outline, but you are going to study, identify major scientific advances of the topic. What are the main, yesterday I used the words main issues raised on that topic in the literature by other scientists. You identify them. Okay, then see the figures also, and some schemes maybe have used by other authors. Then you compose that, make the highlight, right? This is the structure. Main body, we discussed it yesterday in detail, that we start, I repeat, we start the section with a general background of the topic. Background, what is the use of that topic, what are the various applications, why we are studying that topic. Discuss in 2 to 3 paragraphs of the previous work the history and development of that specific topic. That specific topic. If I am talking about, for example, petrocatalysis, then I will discuss the history and development, what is the use of petrocatalysis. Do you understand what is the use of petrocatalysis? All this petrocatalysis is also includes the subject, the catalysis used to make the biofuels also. These are also some petrocatalysis, and other catalysis which are used to change the petroleum contents, one content to another, and for the biodegradation. You write the 2-3 paragraphs of the history and development on that specific topic, or on that, if you have a specific issue, you discuss the history and development on that specific issue. Point out the issues that from that history and development, the researchers have pointed out some issues. You point out those issues in the introduction and then focus on the issue which you are targeting in that topic. Create the curiosity. It should be curious in the last paragraph, but don't disclose the findings. That's clear. That you are going to, due to this specific issue, you are going to focus, investigate this issue by this idea, by using such and such type of characterization, or this is your methodology. Okay, don't go up to the findings. Then in experimental section, we discussed that this material and methods are important for the properties of the material, and this is 1-to-1 relation. What type of characterization are important? Basic characterizations in the material science are XRD, which tells you if it is crystalline or non-crystalline, and if it is crystalline, that what type of crystal structure it has, and if it has, how much deviated from the ideal crystal structure, and if it is deviated from the ideal crystal structure, then is it intact? Can we consider it in that, still in that family, or what are the expected changes in the properties? Because we are synthesizing some material for some specific application. Then what are the measurements and data analysis? Means what type of measurements are important for that specific research topic, and how you are doing the data analysis. You have to justify this, that this type of measurements are important for your findings. And again, I repeat, language should be easy to understand, use active sentences. Okay, try to avoid I or we. We can sometimes, most of the times, we can use authors, or if needed, if your sentence is not okay, you can use we, but still we don't use I, because there is not a single author. It is not a contribution. Most of the times, no experimental work is a contribution of a single author. Then I discussed this, but to avoid, we have discussed this, and then in a review article, I discussed this in detail. Plagiarism, scientific ethics, the most important thing. You should always remember scientific ethics, and I always I always suggest you to go with a proper mentor. You should have a mentor who should handle all the communication, so that he knows what to report, but not to report. Then choice of references, citations. Whenever you are speaking of a theory, you should always cite the person who has said this. This is what we call citation. Who has reported in some paper or in some book. That is called citations or references. Whenever we copy some idea, whenever we copy some theory, and we are giving our own critics, our own discussion on that theory, you please cite the guy. You please cite that scientist with proper paper, proper journal, right? And that is called referencing and citation. Choosing good references, good citations is again a art, and it's very important. And number 2 point is ethical and intellectual property. The review should place prior original research of author. Yesterday also we discussed this point, that whenever you are going to choose a teacher, see teacher's profile, see teacher's old work, see teacher's old work. And if that teacher, that mentor has done the research earlier in that field, then choose that teacher your mentor. Don't choose a new teacher who is very new in that field, or doesn't publish a single paper in that field. Don't choose him. That is scientific ethics. For example, even in our department, chemical engineering department, we have many teachers who has good work in catalysis. If you want to work on petrocatalysis, choose a teacher who has a good work in petrocatalysis. There are very good teachers in the environment. You choose, if you want to do some water purification, some wastewater treatment, there are some, you see what type of work you want to do, and see the their literature, their profile, teacher's profile. If he has done this work earlier, please choose that teacher as your mentor. That is research ethics. That prior original research should have that intellectual property of that teacher, their research group, and that department. It should be clear. Choosing the references for citation is an art, as I discussed, and this should be very clear. I have enlarged this for you. A student is asking that how many references do I need to include Professor Jones? Well, he said it should be optimal of references. People think if you are, it is too many. People think you are making things up. That means you are not giving the proper citations to the work, and you are just making the things out of yourself. If it is too much, people think you are unoriginal. You are just showing off. So it should be optimum, not too much, not too less. So what is the optimal amount? A few in the quotes, as the professor said. So that is taken from one of the comics, right? Choice of, then I will come back to the references again in other way. But before that, how we choose the figures and tables. This is again a art. Figures to include should be carefully vetted and chosen. Every figure should contribute clearly to the overall storyline. I repeat, we choose a research topic, we choose a research title, and that research title has a small storyline. That storyline has a proper focus in all the lines, no break. One sentence has a communication, has a connection with the next sentence, and then next sentence, then next sentence. At that the end, we conclude it with the future perspectives, and that is we conclude the story. We close the story by the closing remarks. That is overall storyline and narrative of the paper. So whenever we write a storyline, we can give a figure also, which clearly shows all the story. That is the way how we choose the figures. And most of the times, even in abstract, we choose a figure which clearly tells you the overall story. Typically, figures of a general nature may be original. The figures which are general nature may be original means you should draw them with your hand, with your vision, with your own art, with your own thought. That is original. Means we are not copied from anywhere. And too many tables in the paper are not good. Sometimes we are using tables to discuss the large database of research that okay, number one, he has some research is done on this topic, their findings are these, and it is taken from such reference, but not so many tables. Each table and its content should contribute to, this is very important, whatever table you choose, this should contribute to communicating the discussion. You have chosen a table, you have made some discussion, and from discussion you are thinking that if I have drawn this discussion in table, and then you discuss that description but you have shown in the table, that is more understandable to a general reader. We should never forget that whatever you are presenting, that should be clearly understood by a general reader. I described yesterday also. What do you mean by general reader? General reader means your classmate. General reader means your junior, for whom you are making this all study at one place. This is how you are contributing to the database. Don't create the junk. I again repeat, choosing on the references, know the scope of previous publication, get the citation right, check for the accuracy. If it is what the citation you are going to choose, it is really there in the literature by searching, and it should have a cross reference. Manage self citations. Self citations should be balanced. It never means that you keep that okay, this is my only to prove that this is my own work. This is my intellectual property. I hope you understand that I see this, that many of scientists, when they write paper, they have a habit of citing their papers meaninglessly. Some, some are citing many papers in their next paper. That's not a good habit. Remember to cite relevant papers published in the journal that you are going to submit. Only cite relevant work. Keep in mind the accessibility of the reference, that your reference should be accessible. Don't cite the web pages. Don't cite the Wikipedias. Wikipedias and web pages, they are not permanent. They are keep on changing. So don't cite them. Only cite the published work, and published work also in Scopus Index journals, not in non-Scopus Index. Don't cite the work from the non-Scopus Index. Don't cite the work from some unknown thesis. If it's not a good habit to cite a thesis, always see that if that researcher, some researcher has written the thesis, and after that, if that is a published work in a good journal, only then you should cite that. Responding to a reviewer request to cite additional references. Sometimes when we send our paper, reviewers request to cite their work. We should be very careful about it. If that is proper, only then we should cite it. Otherwise, we should say no smartly. Then we are here how to choose the figures, how figures should be drawn. You see this figure in your work. You see this figure, no casualty between x and y variables. When we are choosing x and y variables, they should not go over one another. Data better present as a bar chart. Sometimes if this is a data, you may present it in the bar type, not in the line points. And sometimes you see we have only 2 points and we are drawing a linear trend line. This is meaningless. That means we should have at least 3 data points to say that it is a linear behavior or not. That is how. Don't overlook the figures. What is the importance? Don't overlook the figures. They catch readers' eyes and can make science easy to understand. So trying the figures, using the figures is very important. Better to use 5 to 6 figures, not too much, in a main paper. Main paper means which has some 10 pages. You use 5 to 6 figures. And others can be included. If you have some another data also, you can include that in the supporting information, not in the main paper. Data presentation. You see this XY plot. This is the way actually a XY plot should be. Correct use of data point symbols with error bars, that is important. Kinetics, fit color coded to match data point colors. All the data points and line they are in same color, and all are in different color. And it is very clear and not going one line over another as in the last figure you see here. So this is the better way to present the data. Here also again I would say that is 10 degrees centigrade should be written here, 25 degrees centigrade should be written here, 30 should be written near blue, and like this. Because when you see it in the black and white, still they are not recognizable. And this XYY plot, we are showing it this wavelength, and this is good use of arrows and colors to indicate corresponding axes. Sometimes we overlap two graphs, so we should make it clear. Your figure should be complete in itself. I again repeat, this slides has been taken from the Professor Prashant Kamt's lecture. I should cite that. Two important aspects to keep in mind: accuracy of data presentation, aesthetics of the figure. According to Duck, a graphic is well-designed presentation of interesting data that consists of complex ideas, communicating with clarity, no ambiguity or confusion. Figure should be clear, precision, it should be precise, truthful results with no distortion. We should never distort our experimental results. And efficiency, that is minimum charge junk. We should not put junk. I will give you another example in the next slide, that we should not keep junk in the figures. We should not confuse the figure. It should be very clear. And figure caption, this is again very important. I have noticed from my students, they use very small captions, only some 3 or 4 words. No, your caption and your figure should be self-sufficient, should be a story in itself. So description of the figure is intended to explain the data and analysis so that reader can fully appreciate the scientific value of the result just from the figure. When I am seeing a figure with a caption, I should be okay with seeing the figure. It's not like that I should go to the discussion and see but actually figure means. No. So I should use as good caption. It may be a little bigger, 3-4 lines, no doubt, no problem. But it should have the story of that figure in itself. Proper identification of the data sets and analysis is an integral part of the caption. Proper data analysis, that is, it is 10 degrees centigrade, 25, 30, 37. Still it is not clear that, it's still not clear that what is this temperature is for. Okay, these are the bad figures sometimes. I'm using a big figure and you see there are some small figures inside it and nothing is readable. This should not be allowed. It should be readable. You know, in publication, it goes to the smaller size. So it should be readable. This is wrong way. This is again a wrong way. I should use, in place of one figure, I should have used these two figures, right? So this should be readable. This should be big one. Here we are using a single line and so much vacant space and still our captions. But captions I write here, they are not readable. Too clumsy. It should not be clumsy like this. So multi-panels with unreadable data sets or insets and additional panels make it difficult to comprehend. So it should be avoided. Or whenever we think that some space is there, we should utilize that space properly so it is readable. It should never look like that you are keeping some space vacant, and it should also never look like clumsy, not too much data, too much inset, so many insets in a figure. Too many data panels don't serve the purpose of communicating the result with clarity. This is the target, that what we want from the paper: communicating results with clarity. So they should be clear to a general reader. Focus on presenting key data. What is your key data? You focus on that and avoid dilution effects. Don't dilute your data. Whatever it is okay. Don't try to play with it. Don't try to make it that in your thinking it is better. Don't try to play. Don't manipulate your data. Okay. Visual and scientific aspects. A careful and scientifically accurate representation of the data gives the impression that the data were obtained in a careful and accurate manner. Editors, reviewers, and readers are human and may logically equate sloppy figures with sloppy data, experiments, and theory. The citations reflect the scope of the study and whether the journal that is being considered for submission is appropriate or not. They are important in projecting the importance of the work. So you should, like in this figure, legend to identify traces. You should clearly put it here. As I said, in this figure, in the case of this figure, that legends may be put here. So it is shown here that legends may be put here. Now you see, if you find such a vacant space, such a unfilled space, you can put some inset there, but the text in the inset should be clearly visible. This is a good picture. I should say this is a good picture. So another example of some of the abstracts, that is hydrogen storage using carbon-based nanomaterials. This is again a review article submitted to SCAMCON, and this is the abstract. Another title is Nano Biosensors. Nano biosensors for advanced packaging system. Packaging systems for what? For the food safety. So nano biosensors. We are talking about nano biosensors which are used for food packaging, right? And we are focused on the food safety. So this is how we make a title. Then what do we do in the resultant section? We see earlier that we write some introduction, then we write materials and methods. There we also discussed the characterization techniques, and when we have some data either in review paper or in experimental paper, we have some data. That means in review paper we have some selected data of some of the authors of our concerned research title. I would not say topic. Research title means very specific. I selected some 3 or 4 graphs which I want to discuss. Now, out of these graphs, out of these figures, I discuss their results and do a discussion. Discussion means I criticize, critically discuss, not criticize in a negative way, but in a positive way. I critically discuss their results, that author A has observed this conclusion, this aspect from his experiment, and he concluded it like this. Author B has done the similar experiment in other way and concluded this. Then I should correlate both the results in my discussion. While I am writing a review, I should correlate these two results. That to keep on focusing, my focus on my title of my research should not go away. While I'm discussing the other results, when I'm critically discussing the other results, means I'm criticizing one and another with one with two, two with one, then one and two with three, then one and two, one, two, three with four, like this. But my focus of my title of research should not go away. You see the story title, you see the movies, hero is there. Hero or thought of the hero is always there in the story. So, like that, I should never keep away the focus of title of my research. And then, according to the storyline, I should focus on the order of the figures, how I choose them. I should focus on the data comparison and contrast. This word is important. Contrast with the previous result. That if I'm talking about a solar cell efficiency and I'm getting a 34% efficiency, then I should discuss it with the present silicon solar cell efficiency. Okay, silicon solar cell efficiency is still 11%, but we are getting from the perovskite solar cell it is 32% or 34%. That is a contrast. How big contrast is there? For this contrast, if you are still justifying that it is still not economic, it is still costly, then it may be okay, but you need to discuss that. Then include the schemes, photographs, and enhance the scope of discussion in your work. Avoid what? Excessive presentation of data results without any discussion. Don't put the data or results if that has no discussion. Many figures is not going to give you very good, very good impact. Your paper is not good if you are putting so many figures, so many tables. Include major findings followed by brief discussion on future perspectives, application of present work to the other discipline. Don't rewrite the abstract. Remember, abstract is abstract, literally abstract, and why you are writing a conclusion, it is a summary of all the findings you did, all the discussion you did in your paper. So conclusion and abstract, they seems to be same, but they are different. Abstract is literal meaning of abstract. Storyline, no data, no disclosing the results, just showing the data difference sometimes. But conclusion is a summary of all findings, summary of all the discussion, summary of all the concluding remarks. But are your concluding remarks after criticizing, after the critical discussion of some of the authors? And don't forget the acknowledgement. Please always acknowledge your co-workers, your fundings, your, for example, if some technical assistant taken from somewhere, you please acknowledge that. References I discussed, we should be keep our references good. Yes, there is very good wording when Albert Einstein and Charlie met together in some meeting. Einstein said that what I most admire about your art is your universality. You don't say a word, yet the world understands, and yet the world understands you. Then Chaplin said, true, but your glory is even greater. The whole world admires you, even though they don't understand a word of what you say. So my series of these three lectures should not go vain like this, that you don't understand a word of what I discussed in last 3 days. So please, I again advise you to choose your research topics, write some title and discuss with me or discuss with some other teacher of your interest as I discussed with you today, and submit some abstract. Submit, each one of you submit the abstract to SCAMCON. If you think that you cannot pay the amount also, still discuss with me. its registration fees is very less. I'm not advertising the ScamCon. I'm not a member of that. But I wish my students should know how to submit the abstract, how to choose their research topics. Because due to this lockdown, due to this COVID-19, I feel that choosing the research topics is very important. If then you have made the story and we discussed that how to write down the introduction, how to write down the materials and methods, either it is a review or it is an experimental work, how to do the discussion, result and discussion. We choose some figures, not so many figures. We choose some 4 or 5 figures for a text, for a manuscript which is carries some 5,000 to 6,000 words. That means your this manuscript is of about 10 pages, right? You choose some 5 or 6 figures, you arrange them in proper order. How your storyline, according to the storyline, you arrange those figures. You discuss them, their results. You discuss one author's result with second author, then with third author. Then you can criticize or critically discuss first and second with third, and like that, keeping a focus of the title of your research. You should never forget it. Like as how you define the hero of a movie, that should always be there. Or story of the hero should be there. A thought of the hero or discussion of the hero should be there. So that is your storyline. And of course, scientifically, ethically, scientific ethics. With scientific ethics, this storyline should be yours, in your wording, with your thought, with your vision. Is it clear? I hope it is. And you should use schemes. You understand schemes? Sometimes synthesize schemes and other schemes, or sometime we discuss about the reactions and mechanisms, these mechanism schemes, or sometimes we show some photographs of our results, but we are synthesizing some material. If we are doing on agriculture, we are doing on food, that includes also some photographs, right? And we use that schemes on photographs to enhance the scope of our discussion, right? Citing every argument with a published work. Remember it. It should be citing every argument with a published work. You should avoid it. Excessive presentation of data results without any discussion. Then we write conclusion. We discussed that conclusion and abstract has a difference. Abstract is literally abstract and conclusion is summary. Abstract restricted to sometimes 200 words, sometimes 300 words, but conclusion should not be in 200 words or 300 words. If you are writing a 10 pages paper, it should have a good space of at least 1 page or more than half a page. It should have a good summary. Your all discussion, concluding line, concluding half line, concluding part, and it should not be. And forget statement with phrases investigated, demonstrated, carried out, studied are not conclusions. They are in material methods. They are in discussion part, not in conclusion. Conclusion is conclusion. In acknowledgements, remember always thank your funding agency, thank your colleagues, thank scientists who are not your co-author, but somehow you have discussed that topic with some of your scientists, senior friends, please you should acknowledge them. And some technical staff of your lab, of your department, of your university, whom you should thank, really thank, who has really helped you, you should acknowledge them properly. References, use different journals and note reference work for this, right? And we already discussed that it should not be very large number or very small number, but they should be useful, whatever you have discussed. If you have some 10 pages manuscript, of course you may have some 100 references, but 100 may be very large, maybe some about 50 to 60, depending upon their importance. And more important is, it should not be very old work. It should be currently discussed work of last, most of the 60% references should be from last 5 years. And if you think that still there is something which is not well placed, you have some large number of figures which you think that they will be useless later, you should really publish it now. You please put that in supporting information, not in the main paper. This is what I was here, that graphics. Then you write a paper, you also make some table of contents graphics. One graphic which is the abstract of, which is the concluding story, which is the summarized story in a figure of that paper, that of your research. And that should be so innovative, so representative figure that it tells the whole story in itself. For example, this paper seems to be the use of rhodium and titanium oxide, a shell particle, core shell nanoparticle, which is acting as a catalyst maybe, and releasing hydrogen and oxygen. This may be put here. So this story should be like this. And here you are seeing that platinum nanoparticles are used on the carbon matrix, supporting matrix, as a catalyst, again for the energy fuel cell. And you are taking a electron from the carbon, this Pt, this is doing carbonization, and it is here. That means it is showing some catalysis importance. And your graphics which you are using for the summary, it should be not clumsy, it should be perfect, it should be innovative, it should be new, and it specifically very important is that it should show the storyline clearly. Keep it simple. This is the summary. Determine the right journal. See the instructions for authors. This is when we publish the paper. It is little out of your scope, but this is important. Create, when I discussed with you that you choose a research topic, and out of that research topic you write down the contents, list of contents, then you create a skeleton, how you are going to make the storyline of your research item, logical flow map of the information. Then you fill out the figures, you choose some 3 or 4 figures, you see that which figure should come first, which figure should come second, which figure should go at third place, what table should be where, and major points. Write down the major points in the beginning, that what points you are discussing. Then put these points up and down like the storyline, and then fill up the blank space. Right? Write down the material, method, result and discussion, and then conclude. Now, introduction and reference. Many people say that introduction is written at the last. You write the material and method, result and discussion, then conclusion, then you discuss. Sometime again add up to the introduction, that what is left which should be discussed in the introduction you have already discussed in the result and discussion, but it is left to discuss in the introduction. So sometimes people say that introduction is written in last, not written in last, but I should say introduction should be refined at last again, according to the materials, according to the contents which we have used in material and method and result and discussion, right? And then references, write the references, check that if some references are extra, they are useless, remove them. Write the abstract, write the title, refine the title again. If you think that earlier you made some another title, then after writing the material, method, result and discussion, you think that, oh, my storyline is little deviated, so you should refine that title again. Choose some 5 or 6 keywords which you have which you have used in all the storyline, where all the storyline is focused. So this is important. What to do? Material and method, result and discussion, write the conclusion, then refine the introduction, write the references, then it could be abstract, then title, then keyword. And actually what we do, I ask you, okay, student, give me the abstract, give me the title of your work. This is totally opposite. That's why I try to say you that please write the list of contents first. Think of a title. According to title, write the list of contents and make your mind what you are going to discuss. Then write the abstract. But still, this outline, what you are going to discuss in the material and method, result and discussion, and how you are going to write, refine the introduction, and what references you are going to choose, it should be clear in the list of contents. Then your abstract, then only you can write the abstract. And when you are writing a paper, this is the way how you fix a paper and how a paper should be fixed properly. Summary: be creative and effective. Summary means conclusion. Communicating your research properly. It is important to remember your responsibility in advancing the research. It should not be a junk. You have to contribute something. Remember the scientific ethics. They are integral part of the research. I repeat again, scientific ethics means the property should be intellectual property of that science, that group, that researcher, and no plagiarism. Respect others' work. Cite that properly. Not if you have some friends, if you have a friend's work and you are obliging a friend, don't oblige the friend in your research just for nothing, just to oblige it, just to have a party. If it really, it, if his work is really, his or her work is really supporting your research, if his or her work has really to be cited, then cite. That is scientific ethics. Statements, figures, and tables reproduce in a report, presentation, paper require proper citation. That means if you are reproducing some author's figures or tables or statements, all these three, remember, give a proper citation. Write his name, that XY author et al. Has done this, and cite that in the reference. Not at your stage. But common mistakes we do, still not at your stage. Is it clear? That is enough. We have discussed in 3 series of lectures that how to choose our research topic and how to choose the title of that specific research paper or small research. And we discussed what should be the structure, how to make the structure of that manuscript or that research. And for this time, for this series, that's enough from my side. And I will see if it is fruitful, if it is you have really understood. I will see the how many numbers of SCAMCon abstract has been increased, and at the same time how you are enhancing 30% of your marks in my project. I see it has already been affected. Many students are writing very good. They have started writing, but still they are not presenting themselves. They write the things, they submit it, they got the marks, and they again go to sleep. Your writing is really good. Don't afraid of presenting it. Write a good small abstract, put it into the SCAMCon, or prepare it. We will have another seminar or another conference which would be free, totally free for you in near future. We could do that, but SCAMCon is more recognized platform for you. If you can afford and if you can submit abstract, please do that. Is it okay? And hope let's close the today's lecture again and see you on with this class, with fuel cell class on Monday. Okay, see you students.